We don't have to. You don't have to throw the Diet Coke up here. Please don't throw the Diet Coke up. When the burgers are in his hand, I hit stop. On your mark, get set. Wait. Okay. Go. Anyways,
how long's a typical commercial break?
I think like 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. So, hey, welcome to the Tenbro podcast. I've got my best bros back for another episode. I think we're doing all right, guys. We're 2 episodes in. I feel like if we can get 5 in and you guys kind of get in the groove, I feel like we might have something on our hands.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
How do you feel about it being back for a second episode?
Pretty awesome.
After watching the first one, I think.
You think you know what you're doing now?
A little bit better. There's still some things that bother me, but...
Well, if you guys don't know and you're watching, these are my 2 oldest childhood friends, and we're still doing normal podcasts on this channel, Hannah and I. However, even though I've already filmed a couple, I keep forgetting to post them on the right day. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be 2 of us in a row. There's going to be 2 of this podcast, but... early next week, I'll post the podcast I have of Hannah and I. And then I think our next episode will actually have a guest. It's not one of these 2. But yeah, subscribe to this podcast channel if you're not already, because we're so close. I mean, so close to 1,000 subs already. And if you guys don't know how YouTube works, it takes 1,000 subs and X number of view hours of people having watched you so many hours to get monetized where you make a little money. Mm-hmm. So that nice little charcuterie board that Alex brought over, which was very nice of you, by the way. Thank you.
Hey.
If you guys get to 1,000 subs, maybe we'll just have money to have a charcuterie board every week.
Hell yeah.
How does that sound to you?
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting to me. But we're really close to that, so please subscribe if you haven't. But we talked about last week several things that we're going to bring back up on the podcast today. One of them, which is very important, I feel, I made a comment about how fast I can get back to rallies. You remember this? I said, I can get up in the middle of a commercial break, butt naked, put my clothes on, and make it to rallies and back before the commercials are over for like late night, right?
Yeah, during Steve Colbert.
Yeah, during Steve Colbert. You remember?
I do.
A+, gold star. I need a chart here for you guys for the podcast to put gold stars on. Is that condescending? Is that bad?
No.
I don't care.
Zach's like, no,
I'm thinking about it, you know.
Well,
is there going to be demerits?
Do you guys do that stuff for your kids? Yes.
Like bad ones?
For showing up late and stuff? You guys ever gold star your kids?
No.
Never done that?
I do Taylor tickets.
Oh.
So
his last name's Taylor. Taylor tickets. I
Taylor
get it.
Tickets, yeah.
Well, stick around because we have a lot more child rearing to discuss later on in this episode. I can't believe we're going to talk about this, but I'm very excited about it.
It's going to be fun.
We're doing this podcast weekly, and we've kind of made a commitment to do this for several weeks and see if we can get into it. And so I'm telling these guys constantly, what do you want to talk about? Find topics to talk about. Alex sends me a picture of something that we're going to discuss again later. Please stick around for it. Can't believe you found this.
I can't.
A relic from our childhood. Do you know about this? Do you have any idea?
I knew about it.
Okay.
I've never seen it in person.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it. We'll show you guys some pictures, so stick around for that. But also, we're going to talk about, and I think we'll start with this. We're going to talk about my smart car.
Yes.
Longtime viewers know that my giant self drives around a smart car. And if you've really been a serious viewer of any of our channels, you'll have seen plenty of videos where I've talked about interactions with people and crazy stuff that's happened. And I've told these 2 guys being my best friends, I've told them, all this stuff that's happened to me in my smart car, but you just can't know until you see it. So let's start out with the hows and the whys. We traded cars last week. Actually, last week. So you've had it for 1 week straight. Mm-hmm. And I've been driving your car around because we have company, and you've allowed me to take it and drive it to the Goodwill bins and stuff, which, thank you. It's been great. It's been great. I filled that car up with so much trash. You wouldn't, seriously?
It was a good episode.
Did you see inside that? Did you watch last week's episode?
I did. I watched it.
Well, I appreciate that. You were the one viewer. That room in there is full of IKEA bags, right? You can probably see it from where you're sitting.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all stuff from the last week. We filled your. I keep wanting to call your car a smart car. His car is a Toyota Scion XB, which, again, longtime viewers are going to know I used to drive one identical to it, just different color.
Yeah, it's weird how that worked out.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But so I'm used to driving it, and it's a manual, which is actually not rare, but uncommon for those.
Yeah.
We've both owned a manual Scion XB. That's very odd. But I'm just trying to say that I've brought so much stuff from so many different Goodwills back in that car in just a week's time. It's crazy. But enough about me driving your car, because me driving a Scion is old news. Yeah. You drove the smart car all around town here for a whole week. Please tell us, and take as long as you would like, telling us all the stories of everything that's happened to you this week driving a smart car.
Oh, there's too many to tell.
Start at the beginning.
I'll start with the one that sticks out the most in my mind was we were at my wife's grandmother's house.
Okay.
And it was day after Thanksgiving. We were just visiting family from out of town.
Okay.
And the fun aunt, her name's Donna.
Everybody has a fun aunt.
Sure.
We like Donna, but
Yeah.
Donna decided she's going to buy pizza for everybody.
Oh, wow.
So she always orders from Mellow Mushroom.
Okay.
And she wanted to have the papaw drive her to Mellow Mushroom, but he wasn't there. He couldn't do it right then. So I was looking for an excuse to drive the Smarty downtown.
Okay.
I haven't been able to do it yet. So I said, Donna, I'll drive you in the Smarty.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You gave somebody a ride?
Yeah.
An older lady at that?
Yes. And Donna's down to ride for anything. So we hopped in the Smarty and we took off. And apparently, I don't think I'm a bad driver. I really don't think I'm a bad driver.
I don't think so. I've ridden with you
but
plenty.
she thinks I'm a bad driver now.
Because of just how obvious every bump in the road and every swerve is in the smart car, you think?
I think that, and when I drive, I just talk too much. And she
Oh.
thinks I'm not paying attention. But anyway, we get downtown. She goes in to get the pizzas. I'm sitting in the car waiting.
Has she never... let's stick on Donna for a minute. I want you to keep telling the story, but has she never rode with you before?
No.
Well, because I really want to know if the smart car added to her perception of you being a bad driver, or if you're just were being a bad driver during the drive.
I wasn't being a bad driver. I think it's her perception.
We gotta figure out how to give Donna another ride in different vehicles.
you need to work on that for next week. And tell us about it next week. Go pick her up and take her out to
She
dinner.
lives in Nashville, so we do a
Okay.
Nashville Benz trip. We'll see if she's in town.
Yeah.
Let me drive her. You know what I'm saying? I'll get a little drift in. I know how to drive backwards real fast. Anyways, I wanted to clarify because if you're watching and you don't know how small my smart car is, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it on video, but it's small.
Oh, yeah.
Like let me go ahead and talk. I'm going to Google a couple.
Well, I
things.
feel like if we put that next to a golf cart, the golf cart would be bigger.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, look, I'm going to type in how much does a Scion XB weigh? Okay, about spelled weigh wrong. About 3,084 pounds. How much does because a Scion's already small?
Yeah.
How much does a smart car weigh? Let's see, 1,500 pounds.
So half the size.
Yep.
It's half the size of a Scion XB, and a Scion XB is already small. When I drove a Scion XB regularly, I all the time climbed out of it at gas stations, had people go, "How'd you fit in there, big boy?" And now they go even more nuts with the smart car.
But it makes sense of why she probably felt every bump in the road now because two people getting in that adds to the weight exponentially.
Oh, for sure. And then it also doesn't have power steering, so
No.
it's a little rough road the
Yeah,
back and forth.
it really is.
It's
yeah.
have you never been in one?
No, I never.
Well, we're going to give you a ride in a parking lot and do some donuts. And
Sounds
then you can
perfect.
update the viewers next week on your smart car experience. Anyways, continue the story.
So-
Aunt Donna's in the smart car with you.
And Aunt Donna goes to Mellow Mushroom.
Okay.
So I'm sitting in the car scrolling through TikTok, just chilling.
I'm just fascinated where this is going to go. My brain is filling in the story before you even tell her.
Yeah. So
I'm literally on
I'm
the edge of
literally
my
sitting
seat
here
over
looking
here.
at my phone, and I look up, and out of my peripheral, I see this man and woman walk by the car. And I realize I see them here, and they never continue. So I look up, and I turn around, like this guy has turned around, and he's literally like this at the car.
I have to add another note here. You may not. Have you even seen my smart car at all?
yes.
It's
I took a
black-
video of you showing me how
that's
much
right.
headroom you had.
Yeah, the first night I was back,
Yeah,
we hung out
yeah.
and you saw it.
Yep.
It's black on black on black.
Yeah.
Black rims, black paint, super dark, probably not quite legal black tint. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and nobody can see inside of it from the outside, broad daylight or dark.
Oh, so they didn't know you were in there.
This happens to us all the time. People rubberneck, and they also just like look around the car and take pictures, and we're sitting there waving, and they can't see us.
Well, that's what I was doing. This guy is so into his phone taking pictures of the car. I put my phone down and I just kind of grin and stare at him. And it finally clicks. He's like, "Oh shit, there's somebody in that
Somebody
car."
in the car.
Yeah, you should have been filming him and then like rolled down the window, or like your phone appears videoing him.
Yeah,
There wasn't enough time for that, but I
Oh,
should
okay.
have.
that would have been good. Roll the window down.
Can we talk about for a minute the three tiers of the smart car? Do you know what they are?
No. How do you mean? 3-tier models, or what are we talking
The
about?
3-tier models of the smart car.
I don't know anything about it.
Google it real quick. You'll see
Okay,
what I'm talking
sure,
about.
absolutely.
Because the thing that really stuck out in my head is this is a passion model.
Okay. What should I Google? 3 different smart cars or 3 models?
3 stages of smart car.
Different.
I'm just as
models.
clueless.
Oh, so yeah, I don't know. Because the Passion, they're Passion 4.2, and there's something. I don't know the third one.
No, 4.2 is the model.
They're all
there's 3
4.2.
stages of the 4.2.
So Passion.
Passion is like the medium model of it, but this car.
Oh,
is not
Coupe, Cabriolet, and what's the other one?
Passion.
Oh, and Passion.
Yeah.
And what are they? Do you know? Did you? So you're telling me you've sat around Googling things about smart cars now that you've been driving it?
Yeah. Well, I noticed there's a little tag on the front driver's side of your car.
Yeah.
And it says Passion.
For sure. I know.
What is passion? Because this
started
car
there.
does not invoke passion in
No,
me.
it doesn't in anybody. I mean, if you're kind of a car dude, I will say pretty regularly dudes that are like real hardcore car dudes like it, because when you see it in the broad daylight, you see the black on black, then you notice that it's convertible, and then you notice it's got an aftermarket exhaust, which who spent the money on that? You know what I mean? But they did. Yeah. It's a loud little sucker, which is not good because they're not very well sound insulated cars. So you're sitting on top of the engine hearing that all day. You haven't drove it particularly far, have you?
I took it on the bypass 2 or 3 times.
It's loud, right?
Oh, it's loud.
Very, very loud.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like the car, but
Yeah.
it is not a.
It's not a leisure
Passion,
car.
no.
Yeah. Oh, and it's certainly not meant to be driven cross country, which we've done twice.
Right.
I mean, if you want another smart car deep dive, I'm gonna end up titling this video
Smart car
talk.
Yeah.
That's what this podcast is gonna be. If you want a good deep dive on the internet, Google, can I drive my smart car cross country? Just lay back in bed, phone up in the air, and just read away. Lots of heated discussion on why you should or shouldn't, and then everyone that owns one does it eventually, because you got to take a road trip.
Eventually, yeah.
If you got a significant other that you're comfortable with and don't hate, and can set, because this is the thing, and you'll know this because here's a good story. The moment he left with it, he goes, "How do you scoot the seat up?" Hannah and I both require the seat at max distance. So neither one of us has ever tried to even adjust the seat.
Yeah.
So I guess Hannah's legs are a little longer than yours, and perhaps you could. Did you ever get it adjusted?
No, it will not. Adjust.
So you have to reach.
You have to reach, and the seatbelt thing is broke.
One of them is.
Right.
Yeah, it comes in and out of different stages of working. We can go on in a little bit about the other things that are kind of wrong with it. It's got its, if you don't buy a car brand new, it comes with its own little quirks. So it's the seat's not really working right to move up back and forth. I don't know why, but we never worried about it because we both fit in it pretty well.
Yeah.
However, Hannah does lean the seat forward whenever she drives it. So is that what you've done? Is just kind of lean it all the way up and set forward?
And I just realized how to adjust to make it work.
You got to lean. Yeah, you got to lean back and stretch a little for sure. Okay, well, tell me more.
Interesting in a smart car. Too,
well, because it's already a car that you don't get in. You have to put it on like a suit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
But I will say, because I was going to say about driving long distance with your significant other, the height of the car is better than your smart car.
Oh yeah.
The floor to ceiling space. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep calling your Scion a smart car like a dummy. It's so much better. But the width is where you get in trouble, because when Hannah and we're both rather wide people, and shoulder-wise and broad shoulders. So side by side in my smart car, we're touching. There's no way to not touch each other. So you got to be comfortable with whoever you're with.
Speaking of the significant others, did I tell you about letting
my
wife drive the car?
I want you to tell me. So I would like that story you just told. You hadn't told me that about your aunt. Alex has been giving me a live play-by-play on the smart car, kinda every day. He'll tell me something that happened, but like I feel like there's some you've told me and some you haven't. I want all of it.
Okay,
so spew it forth.
What day was it? Last Wednesday? No, maybe it was Friday.
We'll call it Friday.
Let's say Friday is good.
Prior to going over and meeting Donna and getting pizza.
Okay. Same day.
I took my daughter in my wife's car to my mom's to let her hang out for a little bit, right? My wife said we're going to leave the house at 1:30 to go to Mema's house. I'm like, cool, no problem. My wife calls me at 1 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and go on over there. I wasn't thinking, how are you going to get there? You can't drive a manual. Well, smart car's there.
Yeah.
She gets in the smart car.
Oh, yes. I wish she was here to tell us. She probably hated every second of it.
Every second. But it gets better. Because I knew she probably wouldn't be able to find the key switch. because it's down in the middle.
Of course, yeah. The key switch in the smart car is like kind of not even obvious between the seats.
No, like you have to look for it.
It's not down here in the console. It's between the seats.
Yeah. So I waited. I just waited. I'm getting in the car.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, great, honey.
Yeah. Where the fuck is the key switch?
Just look around. Did you tell her immediately
I
or
ended
let her
up
look?
telling her. I ended up
So
telling
you're on the phone live with her while this is happening.
while this is
Oh,
happening.
nice.
So she gets in the car, takes off. We hang up. No big deal. She gets about 5 minutes down the road. My phone rings again. What the fuck are you got me in driving this thing for? I'm going to die on the bypass.
She went straight on the bypass. Never drove the smart car straight to the bypass.
Never. Yep. Straight to the bypass. Take off.
I wish we
Love
could have
it.
had hidden cameras in there. She was probably cussing you up and down, or probably cussing me. Let's be real. God
Yeah,
damn it,
yeah.
Nelson, what did you do?
Why did you get into your
and his
car? You're never
friends.
allowed to trade your car again.
Yeah.
I said, well, if you had stuck to the time that you told me we were going to leave, we wouldn't have
This
this
would-
problem right now.
That's crazy. Well, it's not so. It's not difficult to drive. I think the thing that makes it difficult is that all y'all's fancy new cars that y'all own, they do a little bit of the driving for you. Not necessarily like auto driving like a Tesla, but like they'll ding if you get too close to a car. All this stuff. There's
Yeah.
nothing special about this car. There's a motor, not even a lot of computer sensors.
Right.
3 cylinders. You go or you don't. Matter of fact, let me ask you this. This will kind of prove my point. How much of the time that you drove the smart car, what percentage would you say that you had the floor to the pedal to the floor?
Probably about 80% of the time.
80% of the time. That's probably a good number.
Yeah.
Even around town.
Oh, yeah.
Just down.
Yeah.
Because the hardest thing about driving it often, 2 things drive me nuts or make me feel not unsafe, but I feel like I have to be very cautious. Being on the highway and trying to pass people or whatever, trying to get up and go, or setting in a stop sign and someone's coming. It's like, oh, I've got enough time. But you need way more time than a normal car because you can be at the stop and floor it.
Yeah.
And it's like, floor it. There's a huge delay.
Yeah.
It's
So if
not
you're on the
ideal.
fence about whether or not to take off,
Then
don't
don't
go.
go.
Yeah.
I drive very cautiously in it. Because, and then this brings up a whole nother conversation. People assume that it's so much more unsafe than a regular car, but it has a pretty average safety rating. It's not too bad. I mean, you don't want to roll down a mountain in it or nothing.
No.
But, people think if you get rear-ended, there's nothing between you and the back and you're going to get crunched or, because there's no motor in the front. So there's even less if you just straight hit a wall. Obviously, it's not an ideal situation, but I've never felt terribly unsafe in it. But I do get frustrated, especially since we've driven it cross-country a couple times. I've felt a little frustrated that I'm ready to pass someone, and I think I'm in a normal car, so I'll floor it to go around them, and I can't catch up with them. I can't even if I want to.
For anybody who's not driven one, don't make the mistake. This thing will go.
Yeah.
It'll go
Oh,
80. No
well,
problem.
I don't know if it's got a governor on it or not, but I probably shouldn't say this on air. I can't get it to go past 95. Straight, flat, downhill, doesn't matter.
Cat 95.
You want to take a guess on what the best 0 to 60 I've done is? Take a guess.
About 8 seconds.
F you. 8 seconds, my ass. Take a
8
guess.
seconds was not it. 12.
24 seconds.
24.
Downhill.
That was your best.
Downhill.
With the wind blowing the right.
I went uphill, you're not going to know. Well, there's a stretch of road on the way back from Santa Claus to here, or back from Holiday World. It's a little uphill.
Say
it was
Santa
the-
Claus without them knowing it's a
It
town.
was the first time that I floored it and counted how long it took me to get to 60. And it was like 36 seconds. Because it was just a 1% grade uphill.
That is forever.
It sucks. It's bad. No joke.
Forever.
The best scenario, wind to your back downhill, like 20-something seconds. That's all. I mean,
Yeah.
a Tesla does it in what, like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 seconds, something. And
Yeah,
dragsters and stuff do it like that, 3-4 seconds, 20-something seconds. I mean, like
What year is this smart car?
13.
Hannah, what year is the smart car? 12.
12.
You were close.
Okay. So still relatively new.
Oh, and the
Yeah.
newest ones don't do any better. There are electric versions of it. I would imagine they're a little better because, electric
Right.
motors get up and go a little quicker. And there's no weight in this car for the electric motor to carry forward. So Yeah, it's awful. That's usually the antidote I start with people. People are like, "Oh, is it dangerous?" I was like, I don't feel in danger about crashing, but I do feel if you're not cautious when driving it, it's very easy to get in sticky situations.
Learning all this about the smart car makes picturing you in it, like passing somebody, so much more funny.
Oh yeah, well, me and you,
so funny.
We need to do dinner sometime this week, and I'll give you a ride before or after.
We have to, because just seeing you like just barely. Yeah.
Well, it's funny too because correct me if I'm wrong, but because it sounds like a little hot rod when you're in it, you don't feel like, and because it is so like raw. Yeah. What I'm trying to describe to you is that because it's just a mechanical little 3-cylinder thing, and not all these bells and whistles. There's no governing. There's no. The automatic transmission even isn't a normal automatic transmission. It's actually a manual bump shift that has it's a complicated thing. It's just a weird little mechanical device, so it feels raw. You feel connected to the road. You feel like you're going faster than you are.
Yeah, and that transmission is one of the hardest things to get used to on it.
Yeah, because it shifts like a manual. It feels like
I'm driving my Scion.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm clutching it, but
you're not.
That was the hardest thing to get used to. That first
it feels wrong. It feels like it's broken or something.
Yeah.
Because when I test drove it before I bought it, I'm checking oil and I'm checking everything, make sure there's no leaks. And I get in and drive it, and immediately I'm like, oh, there's no power steering. And I'm like, I'm about to get out and say, oh, I don't want this. Your power steering is broken. Then I'm like, wait, you idiot. It's a 3-cylinder motor, and it weighs 1,500 pounds. If you need power steering for that, you have no business driving it. Because I need to let you drive it. You'll understand afterwards. Cause,
I've had a car where power steering goes out. But
right. Well, and I have to. Matter of fact, my bread truck, here's another story for another day. My bread truck's power steering was out before it blew up. And
yeah, imagine that was a beast.
Oh my gosh, it hurt me. It took everything I had. But this is not problematic. But it doesn't make it harder. It's not hard to steer or anything. But what I realized after driving this car is that when you drive your normal car with power steering, there's a certain amount of, I don't want to say delay, but there's a certain amount of mechanical feedback that you feel from a hydraulic steering pump. And whether you're conscious of this or not, we've all just kind of consciously or subconsciously rather learn to accept what that feels like. You turn like this, there's a hair delay. None of that's there with this car. Right. So it's really one of the few cars you're ever going to get that doesn't have power steering but is still as easy to turn as a normal car.
Yeah.
This is very
odd. The adjustment of like the timing is kind of something you have to get used to.
There's so many people watching right now. They're just gonna be like, "Well, I know everything about a smart car. I ever need to know."
Tune into the Tenbro show.
Don't discount it though.
No, it's not.
It's a fun ride.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hope. I always had a fascination with Volkswagen Beetles growing up, and a large kind of portion of my fascination was really due to this idea that my father instilled in me that they were kind of easy to work on. Yeah, they'll break down, but you just kind of bolt it back on, right? And that kind of small form factor, good little car idea always made me really excited. So I always wanted to have Volkswagen Beetles when I grew up. I've still never bought one as an adult. And if I ever get space in a garage of my own to have and do, I might still get one. But honestly, I kind of feel like, and I'm saying this here for the first time, I might just be a lifelong smart car guy because there's no reason not to have one.
It's interesting you say
park it in the backyard like a motorcycle.
Because coming back to Donna, she did have a Volkswagen Beetle, and after that ride,
really?
Yeah, she pointed out how similar she felt it was to that Beetle.
I don't doubt that 1% because that's kind of my dad. The first thing he asked me without even driving it or anything, he asked me, I was like, "Does it drive like a Beetle?" And I was like, "Well, I've only ever been in one once, right? So I don't know, but I bet."
I will point out I had the Fiat.
Yeah,
for a while. It is quite similar to driving like a Fiat or a European.
I forgot about that entirely.
Yeah.
Alex did drive a Fiat. You know Fiat?
Yes, I remember that now. I forgot that he had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite similar.
Yeah.
Did it have power steering?
Yeah.
Okay, so because I Googled one time how much does a Fiat weigh, and it was a good little bit more than a smart car. It's probably like 2,200, which just puts it 800 or 900 under your Scion. So literally in between the two cars. But form factor wise, you still feel real small going down the road in the Fiat, right?
Yeah. And kind of similarly, the highest I ever got the Fiat was about 95 also.
Yeah, you just can't do better no matter what. Terminal velocity falling out of airplanes is probably still going to be.
Was that downhill as well?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
You're just going to put my smart car to shame.
I'm not trying to hate on it. I'm actually
I can't wait.
Now I'm like, I need to go for a ride.
For sure. You need to drive it too. I can't wait for you to check it out. Is your wife taller or shorter than you? I can't say I've ever really paid attention.
Without shoes, she's a little bit shorter.
Is she? She's about
Put
the same.
the high heels on, she's about here on me.
Oh, of course, sure. Well, that's my favorite thing about Hannah. She puts some high heels on. She's about my height. I'm like, let's go. You know what I
Now
mean?
we talking.
Yeah. Anyways, I asked though because did she have a problem reaching the pedals? Was she cursing you about that?
No, I asked her.
I think there's. I know how tall you are in my head, and now let me preface this by saying I'm the worst judge of height ever because I'm 2 foot above everybody, so I never really calculate it the way people do looking up at others.
Right.
But I just couldn't believe that you couldn't reach the pedals. It just didn't compute. I think. Or you think there's any way you're like more comfortable with a little more?
I am.
You like being close to the wheel. You're one of these guys.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I am, and that was the thing. But once I got in and got going,
you're like, oh, this is okay.
yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
I think she just didn't want to call you because she already called you about the key switch thing. She's like, no, I can't.
She'd call his ass back so quick.
Oh, really? So there was no shame there.
There is no shame whatsoever.
No.
What the hell do you have me driving? Are you trying to get me killed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I have no doubt that she felt unsafe. It definitely can. If you're not into this kind of thing, it can feel unsafe. I maintain it's not. It's not unsafe. I maintain that it is safe.
Oh yeah, no,
But
it's fine.
I had
As
to do
long
the
as
math
you
on
are
that.
aware of what you're driving and how to be
For sure.
aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, certainly. And it's kind of the same way with some of those old cars. Like I bet a good, nice Volkswagen Beetle these days is still, you got to drive it.
Yeah.
I know that sounds so odd to say, but there are some cars that halfway drive themselves.
Well,
These
and
don't.
I'll point out also when it comes to to my wife, she drives a 2017 Nissan Rogue. That thing is like a freaking Cadillac. She's used to the cushy ride.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas somebody like me who drives the Scion, it's not hard to get used to something like a smart car.
For sure. Yeah, no doubt. They're pretty similar in the way they drive. I mean, I will say, if you think of any more stories about driving it, please do tell. But I can think of a couple of driving the Scion this week that I can tell you. Really, the first time we drove it to the bins down in I think we went to Louisville first. No, I drove it to Nashville to pick somebody up from the airport. And as soon as we got out on the highway, I was like, this is nice. And let's be honest, of all the nicer cars you've owned, Scion's nowhere near the top of the list. It's a boat, it's square, it's a brick that you drive, right?
Yeah.
But compared to the smart car and how used to I've gotten having to keep your hands, you got to keep your hands on the steering wheel because any rock on the road sends you over here.
Yeah.
The Scion's obviously not that. That's not the case. But it felt like a Cadillac after driving the smart car for weeks.
Well, and going from the smart car on Sunday to
your even nicer car?
Well, to the Scion on Sunday when we went to eat at
that's
the
right.
restaurant. I just took off. I'd kind of gotten used to the way
You started driving your Scion like it was a race car.
Yeah, and Hannah was like, good God, Alex, slow down. I was like, sorry.
It probably didn't even feel that fast because you're just so used to how slow that thing goes.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. We've driven it to Louisville a couple times and Nashville once, basically is what we've done, and then around town here. And it just, it's just nice. It's just nice and I can lean back and be way more comfortable. I think that's something else, and this probably isn't something else you'll get to notice in the smart car, but I've driven it super long distances. No way to be comfortable whatsoever. I feel like I can just lay back and go to bed in your Scion seats for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, can you think of any other stories? Anything? Did you get any rubbernecking? Did you get any
so that was
other staring people?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of any. But then again, I only drove it about 4 days out of the last week.
Right.
Because
Yeah, and based off what you guys are saying, you're probably trying to adjust to driving it, so you didn't really have a chance to observe a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, I can't help. You did call me from the gas station yesterday.
Oh yeah. Well,
And he listen. Let me tell you before he tells the story. He calls me, and goes, "I got to tell you what just happened to the smart car." And I was like, "Alex, you can't wait till tomorrow. It's less than 24 hours of the podcast." He goes, "No, I got to tell you."
I had lined up a sale for one of the phones that I bought to resell.
Okay.
And the fella, there's a certain kind of person that likes to buy an unlocked phone, and this guy wanted it specifically because it was unlocked and he could call out of country.
Okay.
So, long story, I won't go into details or specifics on it, but long and short, I'm selling this guy a Note 8 for like $200.
Okay.
At the same time, this guy pulls out a wad like that.
Oh, a fat wad.
How much for the smart car?
That's awesome. He saw it instantly, and he knew it was a smart car. He knew what it was. I'm telling you, man, people that know, they like these things. That's pretty awesome.
And I was just like, sorry, dude.
It's not mine.
It's not mine.
I wish I'd have
Just
been there.
stole it, actually.
I wish I'd have been there. I paid $45 for it, and I've put a crap ton of miles on it. I haven't had to do a lot of work. I have changed the oil every 2,000 miles without missing a mile, right? So I've taken care of it, but I haven't had any problems. I haven't done anything for it. If he's about to give me $4,500 for it, I'd probably take it. You know what I mean? I'd probably say, okay, we walk
Well,
on.
I thought about saying, I got a Scion I'll sell you for $35 if
You
you
should
want it.
have. You should have. He might have wanted it if he just sounds to me like he was fresh in the country, just got here probably and trying to get a life started or something.
Yeah.
He might have wanted it. You should have. Missed opportunity probably. I would have rolled up real quick.
It'll go quick. It won't
Yeah, do we even know how much the wad was, or did you just...
It was all hundreds. That's all I know.
It's funny he flashed it.
Yeah.
He wanted you to know how serious he was.
playing no games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't want to get rid of it. And I was kind of alluding to this earlier. I think even if we are looking for a new van, and a huge part of the Scion for me is we want to kind of do some mobile living, camper, maybe a bus, something. I want to be able to have something that's easy to not even tow. I don't want to mess with towing something behind. And if I do, I want it on a trailer. People flat tow smart cars, but there's a whole other podcast worth of information as to why that's not ideal and you have to do special things. But I thought about a bus as a camper, converted to RV, but cut off the back 5 feet and just set it on top of the back of the bus as like a flatbed on the back of the bus. Worship me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I'm about
That's
to.
awesome.
That sounds awesome.
That's
Bus and a smart car.
Yeah, so
and it's
even if
like-
I get rid of that one or something, you could very much expect me to have another one sometime. But I don't think I'm going to get rid of it. It's the coolest. I might be a little partial, but it's about the coolest smart car that I've really come across. Have you noticed smart cars around town since I moved
Well,
back?
I noticed one.
Okay.
Last week when you were naming them off, I hadn't seen any of them.
Right.
But then
Now
I
you've
saw-
probably seen them all.
I saw the green one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's right up the road from here. You're
Yeah.
just sitting in somebody's driveway. I told you all about it last week, didn't I? Well, just in case you're watching, you don't know. That one, somebody's taken metal bars and screwed them on as if it's their own bumper. It's some weird makeshift. They're worried about getting rear-ended.
Oh.
They're like,
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense now.
definitely afraid of being rear-ended. So there's these two, it's 2 bars and then a back of the bar. So it's almost like what a grill is, but then they've just screwed it into the frame of their car. It's awful looking. It's green. I don't know. If
Maybe that's
somebody's
not the one I saw. Is there another green one? Was there 2 green ones?
it's got to be the one. You probably just didn't notice. It's not obvious. It's only obvious to me because I look at my.
I think I was
car
just
all
in
day.
a shock factor that it was a smart car.
Right.
And I was like, we just talked about that. And it was just,
Yeah. Well, pay attention because it's in the
Yeah.
same driveway all the time. Pay attention. If somebody's watching around town and knows who that is, I'm not hating. It might have some purpose I don't understand, or you might have bought it that way. I've seen weirder. The smart car I almost bought, someone had made basically into like not a dune buggy because it still had its windows, but like they had taken off the bumpers and put in welded.
Oh, yeah.
You remember me sending pictures to you? They put the lights on top and the custom bumpers on the front, and it was like stripped out inside. I almost bought it.
There was one like that for sale around here, but it had big mud tires on it.
I'm in. I want one.
And I think they had cut the top off.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. It'd be a great little
Why
go
not?
kart. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why
Yeah.
people don't get them and use them as their golf cart, except for the fact that they're loud. An EV smart car would be a perfect golf cart, the most comfortable golf cart on earth. So we gotta have to make that happen.
You're giving
one day.
people ideas.
Yeah, well, so let's keep the conversation going a little bit about cars. Maybe not necessarily the smart car, but again, if you do think of anything else, feel free, pretty please, to bring it up. But I don't think you're going to top your wife driving it. I don't think it can get better than that. I mean, Donna's funny, but your wife having no idea what she's getting into because
Yeah.
her brain saw it and thought, well, it's a car. It has 4 wheels and mirrors, and it's a car. She thought I'll be fine and had no idea.
Until she pulled out the driveway and then it just did that first cutout when it switched gears. And she's like, oh, shit.
It feels
Right.
wrong. It does. It just feels entirely wrong. Well, do we have
love
any? Do we have any more car stories? Because I know. I mean, we had an interesting life, all of us, with cars growing up. Because what was our teenage years other than church, girls, and cars? I mean, because you had a cool Mustang at one point. And I had a car that I didn't know until like sometime later that the church had given me that they were going to give to you.
A Plymouth Laser.
Yeah.
It was awful, but it was awesome. We drove around in it a lot.
Yeah,
I
we
think.
did. Mhm.
It was a neat little car. Anybody watching know the Plymouth Laser? Because I certainly
Yeah.
haven't seen one since.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like I know. Yeah.
I haven't either, but yeah, that was a nice little car. I mean, it was
A two-seater. Not honestly, not a lot bigger than the smart car. Certainly not as tall, and maybe 2 foot longer. So just a tiny little car. And it was my first experience really like working on a car, fixing things.
it's like a 91.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an old
It was
car.
it was old even then because
Yeah.
I had it like 2002. I guess that's not that old, but and I of course
Yeah.
after that car I started driving vans, which was really
Yeah.
a path away from the norm for me. But let's talk about some of the favorite cars that we've owned and driven. Do you have a favorite car you've owned?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I drove a Ford Escort forever. Remember that?
Yeah.
Little red Ford Escort. I
Yeah,
drove that thing
We rode around in it. I was way too big for that
way
thing.
too big. Yeah.
But I climbed that
And once
thing.
you started driving vans, we just rode with you.
For sure, everyone
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Because we all had cheap little two-seaters, and so we all ended
So
up-
much more room, and everybody could go with Dallas, and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. What about you? Favorite car you've ever owned?
Probably my Cadillac CDS.
Really? Mm-hmm. I'm kind of surprised you didn't say your Mustang.
How many cars have you owned?
1,000.
A bunch.
Have you owned more cars or cell
Or phones. I was going to ask the same thing. You beat me to
No,
it.
not just phones, phone numbers.
I've been teeing that up.
Oh, sorry.
We
Sorry.
have no.
Sorry.
You don't have to apologize. We have to do a whole podcast one day about you and phones. But let's stay away from that for now. Let's talk about.
I didn't have this number in my phone.
There
The one
was
that
a-
we texted on today. But there's like Alex 1, 2,
You
3,
didn't have
4.
the phone number that he texted you today, or you did?
No, I didn't. I didn't have.
He knows. See
just knew it
the
was
shitty
Alex.
grin on his face. He knows what he does.
And I went and looked. I was like, I know he's in my phone, but it wasn't Alex 1, 2, 3, or 4. So
I don't have it anymore. I finally got mad. I got mad for some reason once and deleted them all. But I used to have Alex Reed, Alex effing Reed, and it got more profane about 15 times down. You've had more phone numbers than the phone book.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get into this. I'll go
I
all
didn't
night
bring it
about
up,
this.
yeah.
The easiest way to get a hold of me is always going to be
Facebook,
Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've started doing that, but I don't know. It is a.
I do remember that because I remember you reading them off one day and you're like, yeah, it's Alex Reed. Who the fuck knows? And like,
There is one that just said Alex. Who the fuck?
because I remember like, I think he
one.
called from that and it like popped up. It's like, who the fuck knows is calling you?
Yes.
Like, I think that's Alex's Verizon number. I'm not.
Yeah, but we will seriously have to talk about this some other time because Alex has a long history of that. But you also had a lot of different cars, or way more than I'm on like my 5th vehicle ever, really, like not very far in.
I'm on my 4th, 5th.
Yeah, and you'll have to count them up maybe and let us know next week. Or can you count them now?
Oh, gosh.
You don't have to. You can think about it later because you're gonna forget some, probably.
Are we including motorcycles?
Well, that's what I wanted to get to, because there was just a certain point, and our childhood kind of went like this. Really, basically, let me give like the short of our teenage years. We were just dumb kids. We were on a church youth group mission trip thing one time. Where were we? Down in Louisiana or South
Carolina,
South Carolina,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah, South Carolina.
And he gets a call
Yeah.
while we're there, and they've got a job waiting for him when he gets back. When none of us had a job yet, not a real job. We'd both kind of done this or that. I worked at a comic book shop on weekends or something when I was really young, but like none of us had a real job yet. So he's got a real job, and then I guess I don't know how it happened. Please fill in the blank. But like your mom or something must have been like, he's got a job. We got to get a car, because
Not exactly. Because you got your license before I did.
yeah, which is funny because I got it late. I was almost 17.
Yeah, but, reasons and
Right. Difficulties.
Baptists and so on and so forth.
So what? Your mom was just like, no son of mine. What was your mom like? No son of mine's gonna drive.
She had this weird thing about not getting me on her insurance until I had a job.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So when you got that call, because I remember like it was yesterday, we were in a hotel room and you got a call and you were like, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You were like, you weren't being like normal you were being like a professional you that I hadn't seen. I was like, ooh, this is a new Alex. And he hangs up the phone. He's like, and I swear, I quote, you go, get me the fuck out of here. I've got a job and like I'm ready to go home. And in all seriousness, we still had like 4 more days there, and he bitched the whole time he was ready to go home because he wanted to go to work. It's true. I mean,
I was ready to make money, man.
Yeah, and I remember you roasting him about that, and I see him walking down the hall because I was at the hotel, but I had a different room.
yeah.
And walking down, I was like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "Dallas is being an asshole." I was like, "Oh, okay."
That sounds exactly right. Well, it was just funny because I don't know. I was an asshole in general, but it was just funny because like he was so just ready to go home and get to work. And I think this probably ties into what you're saying about the cars. And you guys definitely need to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because this is exactly what the channel is going to be. Us talking about our childhood and diving deeper eventually. We're kind of keeping it light right now. We don't want to scare you guys away.
Exactly.
But we have some deeper topics about all our childhoods and upbringing. But you were a little bit sheltered is what you're getting at. Your mom's insurance and getting a job. There's a lot to it. And you getting a job was like the first real world experience you were about to have.
It was the first step towards, for lack of a better word, freedom.
Freedom.
Yep. Because now I got my own money and I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. We got home though, and you got a car pretty quick, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep. And I'll never forget the time, this is a little off topic, but the time that my mom decided that I was in trouble and she's going to take my keys away. It lasted about 10 minutes till she decides for me to go to the grocery and get her something.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, Alex, take these back. That's funny.
We're out of flour.
That invokes so many more questions that we probably don't have time to ask because your mom didn't. I don't know how you got your car. If you paid for some of it, she got it. None of that really.
Oh, it was a buy here, pay her thing.
What you went to
Yeah.
buy?
Oh,
your
wow.
thing?
Nikki Hayden's dad's place down there on
Now,
Taylor
was
Street.
this the Mustang?
No, this was the Chevy Blazer.
I don't even remember that. I do remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You didn't have it very long, did you?
No.
Well, this was the point of what I was trying to get to. This is what I was going to say. I was kind of bringing up how our childhood went. He got this job, and then came an absolute torrential downpour of cars and telephones, cell phones.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
years, until now, matter of fact. I mean, you maybe slowed down a little bit on the cars, but I came home the other effing day, and he had a effing Cadillac. And was it a Cadillac?
Cadillac.
And he let me drive it. And it was so fast. It was not like, okay, it wasn't a Caddy, guys. It wasn't a nice old Caddy. It was like it was
It was a 2012 Cadillac CTS.
yeah, it was probably like $100,000 new. Like,
Yeah. Well, I had
Well, and there's a great story about that Cadillac.
do you want to tell it now?
I'll tell
or-
it.
Okay, go ahead.
So the long and short of it is my father-in-law was having a real bad day, and he likes his guns and he likes his explosives, and the car had broke down. So he went to pick him up, and he was very angry. So I'm gonna take this fucking thing home, and I'm gonna put tannerite in it and blow it up
He was going to blow up his car. He was
gonna blow up
for
the Cadillac.
funsies. Well,
For
for
funsies.
stress relief and funsies.
for stress relief and funsies. And I said, "Oh God, please no. Here's all the money in my checking account. Take it.
Yeah.
Give me the car. Don't destroy that car."
And he said, okay.
He didn't even say okay. He said, "You can just have it."
That's crazy. That's some rich people first world
Yeah,
problem
it
shit right
is,
there.
really.
Like, I'm no offense to you, but
No.
that's some first world craziness.
Well, but
How'd you get your car? Well, the guy was going to blow it up.
he had a block of tannerite.
I texted him the next morning. I was like, "Please don't blow that up. I'll give you all the money I have. Just let me get that car so you don't. It's too nice to blow up.
Yeah.
You can have it. Come and get it."
What was wrong with it? Was it just something like
The
it
battery.
needed
The battery needed to be changed.
It needed a new battery.
Needed a new battery. Fuck. He had so many problems out of this car. I took it home, put a new battery in it. It ran like a top the whole time I had it.
Oh, my God.
And then I turned around and sold it to pay off my white car.
All your cars to pay off every day. Yeah. That's crazy. That's a good. So that's got to be your favorite car from now on, just because of that.
I missed the shit out of that car.
It was nice.
It was.
Definitely the nicest car you've ever had in your
Oh, yeah.
possession, for sure.
For
hands
now.
down. It was nice. I drove
love
it.
it.
I drove it from his house to Walmart, which you know where he lives, right? So it's close. It's just
Yes.
it's like 3 blocks away.
But here's the long and short of that. If you know the right people in this town, cars are so easy to flip.
Yeah.
You can make a fast five just like that.
Take it to the right place. Well, that's another thing about this whole town in general that's made it fun to move back is like I do know people here.
Yeah.
Where we were at in Phoenix, there's very odd. If I need something welded, there's already just been so many little things that I've come up and we know the dude here. We know the dude at this window place. We
Yep.
we know we just know. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean the Scion when I sell it, it'll be the fourth car I'll flip this year.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, our regular viewers.
That puts a little bit more perspective into having so many cars, though. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
sure.
mean,
Well,
it's easy money.
yeah. Well, it's a great way to make extra money. And
I told my wife, I'm just going to start a car business, start flipping cars.
Right. Well, and we've talked about it a little. Not that I'm looking to go into business or nothing, but like our regular viewers are going to see this probably before our next regular channel video. And I've done a little work on this car. You'll probably just have to watch it and check all the little things we did to it. But like, it is fun. I like getting a car that's just got minor little problems and just taking a day. You like that Scion we've done one day of work on it, and then I've done 1 day of work on it on the paint since I've had it.
So
it's brand new.
Let's break that down for a minute. How much do we spend on the tires and wheels for it?
Like $100.
$225.
Yeah, not
the paint,
much.
how much you spent on the paint today?
$5.
Okay, so we got.
I already had the sandpaper and the tape and the.
So we got $230 in this car. I'll turn around and sell it for $335 for.
Yeah, it's just
Money in
fantastic.
the bank.
Yep.
Yeah, well, and he let me drive it for a couple of weeks, so like I made
As
all
long
the.
as you need it, I don't care.
Well, yeah, I've been driving it. I've been driving it. It's so nice compared to my smart car. There's gonna be a brief moment when I get back in my smart car where I'm gonna be like, oh fuck.
Right.
You know where to buy a Scion.
Yeah, I know. And it's tempting, but I got to buy a van or I'm going to die. I'm not. Have you ever known me to not?
I've never.
When was the last time you knew me that I didn't own a van?
When you had the Plymouth Laser.
Exactly. 2001.
Yeah.
Was I even 16
Like
in
Fall Out
2001?
Boy
I was
was
like
releasing
11.
albums.
Yeah. It was like Fall Out Boy. They're still releasing albums.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Zach Taylor. Get out. You're fired. Off the
done.
podcast. Out of here. You shall not blaspheme Fall Out Boy.
I wasn't black.
Patrick Stump did not lose 200 pounds and start a solo career and then come back to Fall Out Boy just so you can make fun of him.
No.
You remember the time we almost drove to see his? No, you did. Did you see Patrick Stump live from Fall Out Boy, or did you almost? You have no idea what I'm talking
No,
about. Never
I
mind.
did not see him live. We almost went to.
We were in Chicago, and on the whole, we went to Chicago once. We hopped in. What car did we take? Hannah's
The G6.
G6. Of course, you knew the model.
Yeah.
Car guy.
Yeah.
We hopped in Hannah's G6, which is an uncomfortable ride for 4 people. But 4 of us went up to Chicago one time. I don't know why we didn't ask you to
you're
go.
leaving
You
out a
probably
cru-
had kids by
You're
this
leaving out
point.
a crucial detail of that
Yeah,
whole
this
thing.
depends.
We were going to Nashville for New Year's. Halfway to Nashville, dude's like, I'd rather go to Chicago. Bet, let's go.
And you know what? To his credit, you know what he said? Let's go.
Let's do it.
It doesn't work that way now. Kids and real life and stuff.
Yeah.
But, well, his spirit wants to. But, you know,
Right.
we all suffer from this problem now. Adult responsibilities. And it's understandable. Heck, I can't do stuff sometimes now because I have cats.
Fair enough.
The thing
And you
about
get your
cats
days
is,
mixed
though,
up.
Well, we don't need to go there. I don't ever know what day it is. I've already screwed him around so many times telling him, let's do something on one day. And I'm like, well, okay, let's break this down. Let's go ahead. We've got time for this. You guys aren't in a hurry to leave, are you?
Hey, now.
I have not worked a 9 to 5 since I lived here. So 12 plus years. All my jobs have been traveling and doing other stuff. So I already have a very bad relationship with days of the week. However, the thing you're making fun of me for, I want to go ahead and explain this to you on air so that you can't cuss at me. Well, I guess you
might
probably still can.
yeah.
Our last week podcast, first podcast we did, I texted both of you at the same time, and I can show you timestamps. I said, hey, Alex, you good for Wednesday? Yep. Alex like, yep. I said, hey, Zach, you good for Saturday? What's wrong with me?
He said, looks like Saturday at 6. I was like, that sounds good. And then I got a text on Wednesday. He's like, hey, you still good for tonight? And I was like, wait, tonight?
And this is the Wednesday before Black Friday.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, which made it all the worse.
Yes.
You have to understand this is not normal behavior for me. I do not normally do this.
Well, the best part is I was at work, so I didn't immediately respond. And it was like all the little texts you sent. I was like, are we doing it tonight? And you're like, yes. Did I fuck up? Oh, wait, I just went back and read.
I was scrolling
Not
back up.
Saturday. Saturday was never on the table. Tonight.
Now, the only defense I really have, and like even Alex, when he got here tonight, I was sitting here like this. He's like, bro, you look exhausted. Are you okay? And I am just like drained from all the work we've been doing to get kind of set up here. I'm starting to feel better. Last couple of days I felt great, but I must have just, this was like a week after we got back, and the whole bread truck thing was still on my
Yeah,
mind.
it was
But
understandable, but it was funny.
But, well, I don't know that it was understandable. Like, understandable
Okay.
is me not knowing it's Tuesday when it's Tuesday. But me texting someone to get together for a YouTube video and not sitting here with my phone going, okay, make sure you send the right thing. Because I'm kind of anal about this kind of thing. I
Yeah,
really am. Scheduling, no one waits on me.
And I didn't even question the Saturday. I was just like, oh, cool,
Which
Saturday.
is funny because I'd asked you what days you could
Yeah.
do, and you didn't say Saturday.
I did not.
But
But
my
I looked
asshole-
at that Saturday and was like, yeah, I can do the Saturday at
Yeah,
6.
well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I was mortified because nobody waits on me. I'm 15 minutes early. I'm waiting on anybody to go somewhere. I'm usually the one waiting. I like being early. I like being on time.
Now, did you
Saturday.
struggle with that in Phoenix, or was you always like that in Phoenix too?
Like being on time and
Yeah,
punctual? Oh,
just
my whole
everywhere.
life. My
Everywhere.
grandmother was a magician when I was a kid. I used to marvel at it. She'd tell people we'd be somewhere at 3 o'clock, and she knew exactly when to leave the house to be there at 3. I'm worse because I get there 15 minutes early. I'm always outside his house earlier, and he tells me to be there. That's just how I am. And Yeah, Hannah, and a lot of people aren't going to find it surprising this that watch regularly. Hannah's kind of the opposite. She just kind of is a roll up whenever. She's a roll up homie kind of
Pull
person.
up when I pull up.
Yeah, exactly. And so we kind of clashed in that way because like she especially doesn't like being there early for no reason. But I can't help it. There's just something. I've been this way since as a teenager. I'm not really a late kind of person.
You're just always on time.
Yeah, I'm always early. It's worse.
Or
On time is great.
Yeah.
I'm the asshole, though, that rolls up before it's time to start. But
Yeah.
I will say, we're way off topic now, but
Yeah,
Alex kind of is this way, too. Because anytime we do something together, we're always together an hour earlier than we say. Yeah. It just, I don't know why, but we just always are.
And I come rolling up.
Exactly on time.
Right on time.
You nailed it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Which there's nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
I'm a little broken. But do we have any more car stories? Do we have any more like vehicles?
I don't have a car story. I do have a motorcycle story.
Oh my god, this isn't gonna be good. Is it about me?
It's about you.
Oh no.
First time you rode a
Do
motorcycle.
you know this story?
No, I'm actually.
Oh,
okay.
Oh my god,
Was it your motorcycle that you had?
It was the yellow,
yellow
Ninja.
one?
Before you
Yeah.
tell the story, let me just reiterate that Alex got a job, and then Alex had all the vehicles in the world. Because it was the Blazer. Did you have anything between the Blazer and the Mustang?
Nope, Blazer, Mustang.
Blazer, Mustang. Oh, hey, I have a motorcycle.
I remember that.
And then it was like, oh, hey, I have another motorcycle. It just got weird. It got really weird.
So we had the Blazer, the Mustang, a minivan, and 3 motorcycles laying around. But I was riding the yellow Ninja. Well, it's 3.
And this, let's lay it out a little bit for those who are watching who might know. Do you remember how many cc's it was?
250.
250. So it was small.
Yeah.
And I was already, I weigh 300 something pounds now. I probably was still like 275 back then.
I love where this is going.
I was still big. 275 is still a big dude, right? I was 275. We were 16, 17 years old. And he shows up. He's like, hey, meet me at the church. I go out to church. He's got a motorcycle.
This was my training bike. Okay, this is my training wheels. But I'm like, dude, you need to ride this thing. He's like, bet.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
well, yeah.
listen.
Yes.
No hesitation. Let me. I want you to tell the story.
I would be
I'm
more
sorry. I have to interject. I'd never driven anything with a clutch.
Yeah.
A car, much less a motorcycle. You know? Do you know how to ride a motorcycle, kind of thing?
Well, no,
clutching. It's complicated if you don't know. No hesitation. Absolutely.
No hesitation.
And you have no worry. You don't consider this could go wrong, do you? It's
no.
Dallas. He'll be fine.
Hey, that's what I would think too. He knows what he's doing.
I sure acted like I did.
You're tall enough. All you got to do is put your feet down. You know, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
But anyway, dude hops on the motorcycle. He's got the clutch, got the gas, and he doesn't gradually let off the clutch like you're
I let go.
It just pops it.
And wait, before you tell what happens, what's right beside the church? You walk out the front door. What's right there?
Like the front door, like the
An
front,
empty grass field.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell them how I crossed the entire field.
Okay, so let's say for demonstration, this is both wheels on the ground. He rips the clutch. He's got the gas all the way up.
All the way. First gear.
All I see is front tire comes up, Dallas's feet hit the ground, and he's running behind this motorcycle.
Were you holding on?
That's not exactly what happened. I popped a wheelie.
Oh, yeah.
For 50, 60 yards before I came off the thing. But did my feet touch like I dragged my feet? Is that what you're saying happened? Or are you saying
You did the wheelie, but at some point your feet touched the ground and you're just running behind the
I don't remember that. I remember coming down on it, but you're absolutely right. I thought it was awesome how far I popped a wheelie. Alex ran across the field. I don't know. Does anyone here? You're not really a runner, right? You're not spent a lot of time running. Like, well, when you were in the Army, I do recall your least favorite part was running.
Yeah.
But I just recall at that point, like being thrilled because I just popped a wheelie for the first time I'd ever
for
ridden.
like 75 yards.
Oh, really far. But the strange part about it is when I was doing it, I didn't it was a little scary, but in the wheelie, and I think people that are good at wheelies kind of understand this. It's why you see people do too many wheelies, because you feel in control of it if you feel the weight of the bike. I didn't feel terribly out of control, so I wasn't as scared as I think I should have been. But I get back down on the ground, and I knew when the front wheel touched, I was like, he's going to be so mad. And I turn around, and he's just, running. Because it was far. It was a football field length. I'd popped a wheelie. And do you remember what happened?
What?
You got out of there so fast, you didn't know what to say to me. I think you were afraid I was gonna die.
Yeah, more
I
or
know
less.
you're probably afraid your mom was gonna beat your ass.
Did you just grab your motorcycle and leave?
I don't think so.
No, yes. You
Didn't
said
say a word.
He took it from me in the middle of the field and it was like, oh, I'm glad you're all right, I guess. You were out of that parking lot and gone. I think you were just afraid of it. We were in the middle of a grass field. You were afraid of people driving by. You were afraid of it getting back. There was a lot of fears going through your head. You got on it and left. I had to walk back across that field on my own.
When you saw him come in, was you like, did you say that?
I probably.
It's like, oh shit.
I was
He
excited.
just picks it up and goes home.
He was
That's
not.
great.
But that was the first of a few motorcycles, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got a good segue here. And we'll pick back up here in a second. I think you were afraid of being punished, personally. Your mom finding out, because we were still really young, 16, 17 years old. And, 16, 17-year-olds don't want to get a spanking, is what I'm saying. So we're going to talk more about spankings here in a minute. But before we get into the spanking segment of this, I want to talk about rallies.
Yeah.
All right, so it's rallies time. Hop on up, Zach. You guys come on out here. I don't know if you guys watching have noticed yet, but Hannah and James have been in the background playing Mario Kart. Don't step on any cables. No, come here. You're not leaving yet. I got to give you the instructions. Come over here in front of the camera so Zach can sit back down. Don't block me. Okay, you don't have to get on camera. Just stand beside Alex. Hannah, stand beside Alex. Come on over, James. Here's what's going to happen. We are going to send you guys the rallies. I swore to these people that during a commercial break, I can be butt naked, put my clothes on, go to rallies, be back before the next commercial break. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you guys don't get back in a few minutes, you're going to make me a liar. So I'm going to get my clock ready, and we're going to time you. I need you to go to rallies. When I say go, I'm going to hit the button, which means you got to go outside. Both of you have to get in the smart car, which should be parked right outside the door. Where'd you park it?
Just up here a little bit.
Okay, so just up the road. I need you to. You're taking the smart car because you can do a U-turn in the smart car faster than any other car here. So that should shave off some seconds, right? Because this is one of the best parts about the
Just whip a Yui.
yeah. One of the best things about the smart car is that it can do a U-turn from one side of the street without hitting the cars on the other side, right? You found this out because you did a U-turn in your driveway without
I did.
turn, with no extra points.
No,
just a
I
complete
wonder
U-turn.
if I can do this.
All right, so I'm going to have the clock ready. I want you guys to take this camera that's rolling. Do not cut. And I want you to go and come back, and we'll have a little footage for you guys on exactly how this goes. So, James, who's driving? Hannah's driving. James is going to be the cameraman. It's rolling. It's ready. Let me get the stopwatch. I want a rally burger and fries. Does anybody want anything else?
I'm going to take a rally burger.
You want a rally burger? Sure.
It's fine.
What do you want, a rally burger?
Fries.
Are you guys going to get anything?
No.
Okay, so I guess just 3 rally burgers and a fry lover's fry.
Okay.
Okay?
large Diet Coke.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know how to order this?
Yes.
All right, you can't mess this up.
3 rally burgers.
I need you to-
fried Diet Coke.
I need you to practice this on the way
Wait, she
there.
say Diet Coke?
Yeah.
None of that diet shit.
That's-
Oh, well, he's quoting me.
That's one of his.
That's
famous
another
quotes.
long story for one day. He's quoting me, but don't mess it up. Practice it. Rehearse it on the way, right? So that you can get the order right. Now, here's another little pro tip on how to do it fast. Since there's 2 of you in the car, rallies most often has 2 driveways. Drive-throughs.
They do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I need you to pull into the parking lot and gauge which one's better for you to go in. Because since you have 2 people in the car, you can go to either side. Honestly, if it was still just one of you, you can still reach across the window in the smart car because it's not that long. Do you understand? Do you understand all the instructions? Okay, I'm going to hit start. Are you ready? And we're going to just go on talking.
Okay.
And we're going to time it. We'll stop the conversation when they get back. On your mark, get set. I don't hit stop until the rallies is the bag of burgers is in his hand. You don't have to throw the Diet Coke up here. Please don't throw the Diet Coke up. When the burgers are in his hand, I hit stop. On your mark, get set. Wait. Okay. Go. Anyways,
How long's a typical commercial break? 5
I think like
minutes?
3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about punishment, right? And this is what we wanted. This is the main topic of today. I want to talk a little bit about how we were raised and if we were spanked or not, and if we spank our kids. I mean, you guys both have kids, multiple kids.
Right.
I don't have any yet. I've got a lot of nieces and nephews, like 30 of them. Can't really keep track of them. But Alex, give us a brief retelling of what. Should I play the TikTok for him or no?
Sure.
I'll play the TikTok for you, at least part of it. Give this guy a follow on TikTok. But
Yeah.
check this out. Okay, so the TikTok you sent to me, I was eating. I was out to dinner or something, and you sent that to me, and I'm sitting here with a group of people just going, listening to it and watching it. Tell us what happened.
Okay, so I'm cleaning out my garage on Saturday because Saturday's our garage day. It's like awesome time to get outside and just be left alone for a while.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Anyway, my mom moved out of an apartment a couple of years ago, and all of her shit from her garage landed in my garage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm storing the stuff from my mom until she gets a new house. She just got a new house like 3 months ago.
Okay.
This shit hadn't got out of my garage yet.
Oh, of course.
Okay. So I'm going through everything, loading it up in a car to take, not the smart car. There's literally like 2,000 books and personal items and stuff.
I can imagine.
Oh, God. But anyway, I'm loading all this stuff up, kind of going through these boxes, and I open one of the boxes and I find this paddle that my mom used to use on me and my brother. And this seemed like a great time to get a little bit of, not revenge, but justice for my butt.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, of course.
So I took this paddle out and I was like, I'm going to destroy this thing. Like, I thought I might give it to my brother because he keeps a lot of dad's old stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, he also got the paddle a little bit more than you, I think. No?
No,
Oh, that's a bad assumption?
he got off easy.
I would
see,
have assumed the same thing.
Oh, so because he was the baby. Interesting. We're both surprised, so I guess that should tell you.
Yeah.
He was,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, he was
So-
the bad kid.
So
You know what I mean?
coming from this Baptist, like strictest Baptist background, more so than what we've discussed.
Right.
Right.
Oh, prior to the church we grew
Prior
up
to,
in, you
like-
attended some churches that were worse.
Much worse.
In
Yeah, I mean, we're
terms of
talking about like
strictness.
they have their own school. They spank the kids at school. You can't wear shorts. You can't go to movie theaters. The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, spanking was a big deal, and my mom decided that she's gonna get in line with that. So when I was little, anytime you fuck up in church, you got a paddle meeting when you get home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I find this old paddle in this box, and I'm like, she ain't getting this bag.
We are now at 3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes for the Rally Burgers. Please continue the story.
So anyway, I wondered what I should do with that paddle. So I'm like, I would love to destroy this thing just for shits and giggles, but
Yeah.
also this seems like it might be a good TikTok content. So I
It
made a
was, it
TikTok,
was.
and I'm like,
Did
TikTok.
you see the TikTok?
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, TikTok, what do I do with this paddle? And then I got these awesome comments. You said paint a rainbow on it and
Yeah.
do something with it.
Yeah, paint a rainbow flag and put it in a frame and give it back to her.
Wait, you're the one that commented that?
Yeah.
I saw that,
That was
comment.
me.
I didn't know that was you.
It's Tendo. It said Tendo. on it.
Did it say Tendo?
I don't know. I don't know what my TikTok name is, to be honest with you. I didn't even think I had TikTok until it let me reply. I swear.
You're probably like user 4936.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I at any rate, whatever you do to it, I do think it needs to be returned to her in some sort of display fashion. She needs to hang it on her wall or something.
I like the rainbow flag idea for
Yeah.
reasons we'll discuss later.
Yeah, we can talk about that later, but
Yes.
you'll come to
Yeah.
find out later why that was probably a good suggestion.
But I also got a suggestion to
Correct.
burn it and take the ashes and put it in a bottle and then make that a Christmas gift.
like make a Christmas ornament out of it. That'd be funny.
No, just burn the ashes and give it back to somebody
Just,
for
here
Christmas.
you go.
Literal coal.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that because should I tell my memories of the same paddle?
Sure.
This is hard. This is gonna be a little bit difficult to kind of dive too deep into because of our upbringing and how we were raised together and the issues surrounding that we want to get into further on this podcast. It's just a little bit difficult to get into, but. I remember I went to your house way more than you came to mine when we were growing up. It's just how it worked out. And let me just start out by saying I've never been spanked. Okay. My little brother and I, we never got it. I think it was threatened a couple times when we were really bad, but none of our parents laid hands on us. And honestly, it probably didn't help that by the time I was 10, I was bigger than both
Right,
my parents,
yeah,
right? So that probably didn't help any. But I went over to your house, and I certainly had never experienced that like heightened church or like people at your church. It was a hobby. Spanking was like a hobby for some people. Like I know it sounds weird, but there's kind of this bigger. I just got a text message from Hannah. They're not moving quick at rallies, and we're at 5.5 minutes.
Oh, no.
I knew this was going to happen.
You did, yeah.
I told Hannah to be ready. This is probably going to be a reoccurring segment, and we're going to try to occasionally on the podcast break our record. and try to get it down as low as possible because I'm telling you, there have been times.
It can be under 3 minutes. It can be under 3
It
minutes.
absolutely can, and we're going to do this until we can get it. They probably haven't even left yet. This is about to be some 10-minute rallies, man.
We need to call them ahead of time. Like, hey, you guys on your A game tonight? You got staff? How many call-ins you guys have? You guys good?
I'm trying to promote rallies here and how
Yeah.
fast it is. You guys need to step it up tonight.
That's right. We'll be there.
I'd never experienced the kind of excitement that some can have around spanking their children that I experienced for the first time at the age of about 12 or 13 when we first got to know each other, as I did at your house. I recall being at your house one of the first times I'm ever there, and your brother did something stupid. If I recall, I think he jumped off the roof of the house onto the trampoline and did a backflip into the swimming pool. Yeah. Popular amongst.
Yep.
Oh, is that
the door.
them? Here we go. Yell stop when you catch it. Oh, he handed it off. I hoped he was going to throw it.
Thank you.
I honestly thought I was going to toss that.
Wait a minute. Where's Hannah? Did you run from rally?
Did you just run out of the way, Miranda?
No, she just stopped. She's like, go, go, go.
Did she stop in front of the house? Okay, well, listen. It was about 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And that was obviously a little bit slow.
Still not bad.
Yeah,
though.
but if you think about the timestamp,
That's
Phil,
about
when
a
she-
commercial break.
When she sent, they're not moving quick. She was in their line.
Right.
So-
So it took you 30 seconds less
Since then,
to get
yeah.
back. Okay. Well, here's the deal. We'll do this again next week, and we'll see if we can shave some minutes off, okay? Is there anything you guys would do different? Is there anything... Did you pick the right lane, the wrong lane? Here, let me have the food. You let them pass by.
There was 3 people there.
There's 3 people in line. Oh, so you had to wait. Okay. So...
There were significantly more people there this time than there has ever been.
Ever than we've ever gone.
Ever.
All right, well, go ahead and get back to your Mario Kart, and we'll do this again next week. We got to do this until we get a 3-minute rallies run. Once we pass 3 minutes, we'll quit doing it. But we're going to do it every week until then, so make sure you're subscribed and come back for that. Let's finish the paddle story, and then we'll partake in the rallies. What is in here? Oh, we got the fry lover fry. Just look at that for a little while. Anybody salivating? So what really kind of seemed really odd to me was your brother did something bad, and that's all fine. But your mother came outside and said, Andrew, I told you not to do that. And he was like, I mean, you know, your brother, okay. And your mom was like, you know what's next? And he goes, yeah. And she just holds the door open, and he walks inside, and he goes and sits on the couch. There's steps. There's lots of steps. And then your mom goes to her bedroom and begins this like ritualistic preparation. She takes out a blanket, lays it on the bed or something, and takes out the paddle and kind of sets it down ceremoniously. And then it's like 5 to 10 minutes past before he actually goes in and gets his spanking. And I don't know how old. I mean, comment below. Do you spank your kids, and how old were they before you stopped, or do you still do it? Because even at this point, he seemed a little old and a little. I mean, your mom's a small woman. I feel like he was bigger than her by this point, but she gave him a nice ceremonious spanking. And the word ceremonious is really what do I want you to take home. So, am I at all right about this? Because we're talking about the memory of a 12, 13-year-old.
You're not wrong. But I think what needs to be...
Please excuse the sirens. We didn't do anything illegal. We live by the police station.
What you've got to... For people who aren't from here and don't really know kind of the Bible Belt mentality is... It's just that. It's a mentality.
Well, it is, and the thing that gets people... Please understand here that I'm talking... If you think it's okay to spank your child, that's all fine. Your parents do what you're going to do with your kids. I really have nothing to say. However, there is a point where, with our upbringing, people, when it comes to this topic, got a little too obsessive. And again, ceremonious, and, it's kind of an odd thing. So, people growing up here, it's... And for us, it was a little different. Way more for you. Again, I never got spanked. Did you?
I did not.
You didn't get spanked
Nope.
either?
Nope.
And let's be honest, we're not saints
I mean,
here, but
Grandma did
did
once
she?
or twice,
Interesting.
but when she passed away, I never got spanked after that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to say we're like saints sitting here, the best kids ever, but like we're not bad dudes.
No, what do you mean?
So obviously, But what were you gonna say? Because we're talking about it. I just really want to stress that it's like it's different. And some of you might have grown up in a way where it was. Certainly older people. I mean, all of our parents were probably spanked at their public school. So obviously the world was a lot different then.
Yeah, and you know the saying, like, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts
Yeah.
you. Like,
Bullshit.
They did not.
That's not a real thing.
No, they didn't never say that. They
Yeah.
didn't. Like,
Oh no, they did say that.
yeah. They did, but you definitely couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
There's some parents that do it, and you're like, yeah, okay, they really don't want to do that, but they feel like that's what's best for the kid. But
I got a little confused there for a second. I think that's what I was trying to say was that around here, at least with our upbringing and our religious background, there's the Bible says spare the rod,
Spoil the child.
spoil the child. Right. Or does the Bible even say this, or is this just something people say? I can't recall
pretty sure
anymore.
I'm
way
sure it's in there.
Google it. I'm way too far removed from
It's gotta
that
be
part
a
of our
proverb.
life. For me, it's definitely in Isaiah. No. But you're taught where we're from and the preaching that we heard, you're taught that if you don't do it, you're in trouble. You're going to hell if you don't spank your child. This is the mentality.
or worse, your child will go to hell.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you'll go with them.
Yeah,
because
you did not
you
spank
did
them,
this.
your
This
child.
is your fault. Yeah, and to be honest with you, I mean, I've been pretty clear on our channel in the past. I'm not at all religious, and this is definitely stuff we'll get further into.
Yeah.
But, like, that's kind of one of the things about religion that we grew up with that I just don't miss at all is how scared into so many different behaviors you were. So as funny as you finding that paddle is, and it's still pretty funny. We've laughed about it a bunch.
Oh yeah.
It is kind of just a weird sign of the time of life we're in, right? Because, I mean, if you don't want to answer, please, if this is too personal, but do you spank your daughter?
I don't spank her. Mm-hmm. There's been times where I've had to swat her butt a little bit lightly to get her attention.
Yeah, hey.
but
Hey, listen.
but as in, you're gonna go in the bedroom. We're gonna take care of this right now. No.
Yeah.
Now, have I ever been mad enough to do that?
To want to?
Yeah. Have
Yeah.
I said, man, she needs a spanking? Yeah. And think of my wife's there. No.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's such an odd thing because, like, let's be honest, as the one sitting here who was spanked a lot, did it do anything for your behavior? Because you were also spanked probably a lot later in life, perhaps, than I think some would have been.
I figured out at about 12 or 13 how to talk myself out of it,
Out of what?
out of the spanking.
Okay. Oh, to talk your way around it,
oh,
to
yeah.
get your
Yeah.
mom not to do it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got to hear this. How do you do that? Just
You-
kind of apologize,
He's trying
kind
not
of?
to show his cards right now.
You zero in on that weakness that they're showing, and you use it to your advantage.
Are you saying just flat out ball?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're saying. You got to explain this to me. I've never been spanked, Alex. I've been 300 pounds since kindergarten.
Figure the way I figured out it worked. You figure out something that you can use against them, and then you use it.
Oh, you're talking straight blackmail.
No, I'm talking.
Oh, I was.
At that point, it was manipulation. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say this to make you feel bad, so you won't do it.
I saw you cheated on your taxes last year, Mom. You ain't spanking me. I'll call the IRS right now. His mom didn't cheat on taxes. I'm just saying. I'm trying to. This is where my brain is going.
That's basically it.
Okay.
Put away that jury summons.
Not quite that bad,
Not
but
that
I was
level
about,
of
I
legality.
was about to start clapping.
But as a 12 or 13-year-old kid, you use anything you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also coming back to what is this and why is this?
Yeah.
At that point in time, this is the early 2000s, coming out of the
Right.
90s, coming out of the 80s. I think that this was something that was so culturally ingrained that it took 20 years for us to get to a point where we're like, that's not an effective method anymore.
Yeah.
It never was an effective method. But it was the right thing to do based on what the preacher said.
For sure. For sure.
And just the story of your brother, just like, yeah, I know what's coming next.
Yeah, I mean, it never. I mean,
Yeah.
your brother's behavior was his behavior, and he was the way he was until. I mean, he still is the way he was. And I think that's something important about this podcast. I want to dive into a lot of because, like, again, I definitely want to hear from you guys. If you spank your kids or don't, what do you think about it? Please feel free to share. But
Yeah.
I've never. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. Kids being bad, you spank them and they act right for a little while. But
what are you doing to them on the inside, on the mental side?
well, and this is the thing that just makes it so. Don't get me wrong. Are there kids probably that have needed it and do need it? Probably some kids with some personalities, sets of personalities. Maybe it does do them good. But I've just, in all my life and all my attempts to be the kind of observant person that I want to be, I just see too many variables for something so linear to be effective over the masses in the way that we were taught, and as you were saying,
Correct.
how we were preached to, that this is the only way, everyone must do it. It just doesn't work. I was, to be honest with you, I was a pretty damn good kid. Me and my little brother were the politest little shits you ever did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
I remember that about you too.
Yeah, we were always, but maybe part of it, my grandmother was just, we were her second time raising kids. She raised us, so maybe she just figured it out. I don't know, but I wanted to
You should ask your dad if you. Yeah, she beat the hell out of me.
I don't know, honestly, if she spanked him or not, but I do remember one time, and mind you, he was probably 40-something at this point, and she was already elderly. I remember him doing something, and Granny saying, if you do that again, I'm going to get you. And Dad did it. Grown man. Granny chased his ass into the bathroom with a fly swatter and beat him with it.
So yeah,
every bit of 60-something years old. So yeah, she probably did. She probably beat that ass.
she did. She had to.
Yeah,
Yep.
because that was so easy,
Yeah.
and the best part about it was how cowardly he ran away.
Oh yeah. So
from
he
this
knew.
fragile older woman.
That's the point of the whole thing. You get in their head. They beat you into submission.
Yeah.
And then that scarring is there for
Even when you're,
fucking years.
that's interesting. Well, it is interesting too, because like, let's just be honest. If you spank your kids or not, please just take it. What I know is that for some people, this is going to be a hot button issue.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are so certain this is the only way. And whether or not you do it, again, I'll stress this. I have no strong opinion over do or don't. But if you do approach spanking kids in a way where it's just end all be all, you're going to find me in stark disagreement with you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very strongly about that. That if you think that the whole world needs spanking and the only problem with this generation is they didn't get spanked, you just don't live in the real world. That's my opinion on the matter.
Correct.
No, and
I
I
agree.
think-
I agree with that.
I think the folks that would have that mentality and would say that are, for lack of a better word, they're coming out of a cult or they're stuck in the past.
Yeah. Well, they're you know.
Drop that C word.
Which is not to say that if you spank your kids, you're stuck in the past. But if you think that it is the only way for every child, and yeah, you're very much so just you've come from a world where that's how it was, and you want your turn to do what was done unto you. Mm-hmm. Now that turns into a whole nother wormhole of things.
Yep.
An infinitely long wormhole of things that we will dive into certain parts of at a later date. But yeah, I just, now a lot of people, I think there's probably gonna be some people that hear me say all this and are like, you don't have kids, shut up. You know, my sister already addresses me this way quite often. No, not that I've come a million miles away from giving her child advice at all. Would never, do not. I've given none of you child advice.
Right. Yeah, no.
It's not what it is, but like, she'll be mad at her kid and can't really figure out how to deal with it, and I'll just be sitting there being quiet, and she'll just look at me and be like, "Wait till you have one," and I haven't even made eye contact. This has happened. This happens every day. I don't speak. I don't say nothing. I just wait patiently because I'm an infinitely patient person, if nothing else, and I still get it. I got it today. Wait, just wait.
You just wait. You.
She thinks just because my kids have the last name Blanton, they're gonna be bad too. But I mean, you guys both have kids. Did you ever spank your kids?
No. No, I don't.
Your daughters are super polite. At least is what I've.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean,
Yeah.
they have their moments like any kid, but
For sure.
I'm kind of like you. Like, for my kids, it would not be effective,
Yeah,
and it just there's too many variables. There's too many things. Like
their personality types and stuff. Yeah,
100%. So for them, there's other ways. You know, one of them really just sit down and talk to her and work out 90%.
The older
of the
one.
problem. Yeah,
yeah. She's talkative.
She's a
She's
talker.
probably like him. She would probably manipulate the situation.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Manipulate 100%.
Oh, I've met her like twice, and I already know.
Yeah.
she's smarter than I am.
She's pretty smart. She'll figure it out. And then, like, with technology, too, like, kids, like, my girls have their, hand-me-down iPhones that don't work, but they can watch.
YouTube and
Yeah,
such.
I just take that away if it's really serious. So,
Yeah.
get no Tendo show for you tonight.
Yeah, no, you're not watching Tendo before you go to bed.
Yeah.
I you know what? I know you're joking, but there's probably some kid out there that's actually happened to. Which I don't
Yeah,
say to brag. I've had twice now.
Probably.
I've had kids dress up as me at Halloween.
Really?
Twice now.
What do they wear?
My sunglasses.
Okay.
And one of them, the best one, carried around the lemonade that I drink.
That is great.
So I'm just saying that to illustrate that probably happened to one sad kid once, and I hate it for him. You should have got a spanking, kid, so you could have watched me. You know what I'm saying? I need that extra view.
Yeah. That is awesome, though. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Tank top, too? I guess it depends on where they're from. If
I don't
the
remember
weather was right. But
Yeah, I don't remember a tank top. I wore tank tops in our first year, half a year of episodes, but I kind of got tired of looking at myself, so I covered up a little more. But that's a true story. Well, anything else? I think maybe we should take a little bit of suggestions from the audience. If you guys have any good ideas about what to do with Alex's paddle, something clever we can do with it, not even necessarily to give to your mom or not, just anything. I mean, we'll take any and all
somebody
suggestions.
is going to have the $1 million idea.
I hope someone has a good suggestion.
I want to hear how to dispose of this thing. That's it.
How to get
I
rid
don't
of
care
it.
where it goes. I can burn it in my
It would
backyard.
take a lot of black powder to get a rocket high enough in the air to, not black powder, but you know what I mean, gunpowder, whatever you put in bottle rockets.
What if we put it on some tannerite and blew it up?
Well, I guess call your father-in-law. Ask him if he's got a car that we can also have in the meanwhile. Yeah, suggestions, please, pretty please.
I love it.
We're about to get out of here because we've got some rallies to eat, but I want to.
sure.
Let's bring
Yeah,
that
eat
back
the
up a little
rallies.
bit next week, and we might even continue this conversation a little bit next week because I know there's going to be plenty of people. I'm hoping plenty of people with comments on the whole situation because it is. I think if nothing else, I think the whole spanking your kids thing definitely deserves a lot more conversation than it gets. I personally find that when it comes up in social settings, as it often does, it's way too black and white in the discussions.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would 100% agree with that.
And honestly, if you're watching this podcast and you have a lot of black and white views and aren't open to in-depth conversation, you're probably not going to have a good time here, but I still very much so suggest you stick around because I want to dig into these things a little bit as time goes by because we got a lot to talk about. We've got 12 years of catching up to do.
We do have a lot to talk about, yep.
Now, rally burger for you. Ooh, they're still warm-ish. The center's probably cold. Rally burger for you.
Piece of lettuce.
And do come back next week and see if the fry lover. Did you guys eat some of these fry lover fries? No. Are you lying? They normally.
It's in his beard.
He's got.
No, I'm just kidding.
Normally, you get a little Goku out of the top. You know what I'm saying? Normally, you get, but I don't know. Maybe they're not hot anymore. They've sunk down. Come back next week. We'll try this time trial again. I want to get one under 30 minutes, but until next time, guys.
Under 30 minutes?
30 seconds. I want to get it under 30. You're messing.
Sorry, that's the outro. Cut.
Just cut it right there.
Fuck
I
the
want
whole
to get
outro up.
a 30-minute rally run would be the worst rally run ever.
That would be terrible.
I want to get an under 3-minute rally run, and then we can just quit the podcast after that.
Here's a suggestion.
Oh, God.
See how long it takes to get Blizzards at Dairy Queen and get back.
That's a whole other thing for another day. If you didn't know the job we were talking about that Alex got when he got back from that trip, it was Dairy Queen.
Yep.
Do you think it would be good? Good timing?
If they'll DoorDash Dairy, yeah.
Dairy Queen's pretty close, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right?
Just a few
Yeah.
more blocks in the rallies. Well,
Yeah.
let's get the 3-minute rally in the next several episodes, however long it takes. And then we'll do, what, a 5-minute Dairy Queen? It's not going to happen in 3 minutes.
No. I'd say a 10-minute Dairy Queen, given how far it is.
Okay.
Are you getting Blizzards?
Yeah.
Do those take long to make
Yeah.
compared to other? No.
One more question
Okay.
before we go.
What?
How many combined years have you worked? Well, 2 more questions, I guess. How many combined years? Just stick around, guys.
Hold on, we're getting
How
there.
many combined years did you work at Dairy Queen?
Well, so 16.
Did you ever have a problem? 16 years. Gosh, that's crazy. How did you ever once in your life have to take a soft serve ice cream in a cone? They're laughing in the other room.
Yeah, they know.
I told you guys I was going to ask him this. Did you ever have a problem with the chemical makeup, not chemical, the structure of your ice cream cones? I'm talking soft serve, baby. I'm not talking Blizzard. Because you assholes like to turn the Blizzards upside down.
Yeah.
The first time someone did that to me in a Dairy Queen, I was like 13 years old. I thought I was going to punch that lady in the face. It was the worst decision Dairy Queen ever made. Why do you... Okay, we're not
the
going
Blizzard,
anywhere.
yeah.
I'll tell you why they do it.
Why do they do that?
Because they want to prove that it's thick enough and blended well enough that it will stay in the cup.
Next question.
What?
We're going way more than 2 questions.
ran a whole
Did it ever
commercial.
fall out?
Yeah,
All the time.
all the time.
But Dairy Queen
Wait,
ran a whole
I'm leading questions. I've got some leading questions because we got to get back to something here. Does it happen because the content of the ice cream is not mixed quite right, or is it atmospheric?
When you would normally see it is a really busy period. We're doing $700-800 an hour, all ice cream, and the ice cream machines can't keep up, so it's spitting out.
It's spitting out goop.
Yeah.
That's when it happens after you've served too
Yeah.
much ice cream. Have you ever had someone order a soft serve cone and that was goopy and you had to put it in a cup because it wasn't going to stay on their cone?
I've had people order a soft serve cone. I have to put them on a 10-minute wait to let the machine catch up, and then put it in a cup.
Okay, we went to rallies the other day because we're rallies fanatics here.
Yeah.
We really are. Every day rallies. I at least eat one of those fries every day. 900 calories if you had to know. I didn't notice that. Someone told me while I was in the middle of one. The dude orders an ice cream, right? We got a friend with me in the car. He says, I'll have a soft serve ice cream. She hands it to us, still on the cone, but in a cup.
Turned upside down.
Turned upside down into the cup. This is normal behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. We thought it was the weirdest thing we'd ever seen.
No.
But this man has worked at Dairy Queen for 16 years, and he says it's normal. So, James,
I don't work at Dairy Queen anymore, though.
you know, just so everyone knows, we thought that was crazy.
That's pretty normal.
Pretty normal. Because they serve too much ice cream. Probably what happened. All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. If you ever get your soft serve ice cream upside down, they just served too much ice cream. You got there too late. Until next week, guys. Peace out.